Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we have another Raw here for the 15th. Pretty packed show, honestly. This is a pretty good, like, before PLE show. Normally, sometimes they can be a little lacking, but they definitely brought the star power out on this one. So I at least always appreciate that. If you're not gonna have these amazing matches, not even that like the quality is not amazing, but like more of just like storyline and stuff, then they just kind of feel random. At least if they do all the other good stuff good, at least it's something. So we'll jump into it to see if they did that. So we're gonna start off the show with John Cena. Of course, it's in Massachusetts where he's from. He grew up pretty close to that area, so it all makes sense. Honestly, it was not a super crazy promo. I don't think he did anything crazy. He didn't reinvent the wheel or anything. It was just a pretty solid promo, talking about that he's going after Brock Lesnar, obviously, this weekend, and that, basically just trying to justify it to everybody about it, and it's fine. It's Cena's fame. Whatever Cena wants, Cena should get in his final run. So if that's what this is what is gonna happen, I'm fine with it, and we'll see what happens. So solid A. Then we go into Lyra and Roxanne Perez. Now this match absolutely did cook. There was a lot of like outside stuff like towards the end of it with like Raquel getting thrown out and stuff. Like I'm glad they kind of got rid of that right away because I really thought Lyra was going to take two L's in a week, not in a week in back-to-back shows. But luckily she had a pretty solid outing. Roxanne Perez still is just a superstar out there. Like they have really good chemistry too, so I would definitely love to see this ran back at some point. It was kind of just not a super long match. It was 9 minutes. I mean, I think that's solid, but like I definitely wouldn't have minded a little bit longer. I thought it was solid B. Great first match of the show. When you have stuff like that, you kind of like hope that it's going to be better and better and better, but sometimes it doesn't always work like that. And I think for this one, it was an easy one to just put into B. Then after the match, Raquel and Roxanne beat up Lyra to Bailey having to come down and save her, but it's the hugger Bailey. It feels like Bailey's kind of shifting around her gimmicks because later on we kind of see her as the damage control Bailey. This is just a general thing for Bailey here. I like it. I like it's interesting. It gets her on TV. It's not like main event like area that she should be in, but this is still a pretty solid storyline that they're doing. So I'm enjoying it. I still think there's going to be a good payoff from it. We'll see, but I'll put it up in S tier. One of my favorite type of like gimmicks that they're doing right now. Just kind of even cycling through gimmicks is an interesting idea. Then we had a couple backstage promos and segments and stuff. The one I didn't really put in here because it leads to the main event is the Usos. That they're at odds ends, and like LA Knight needs a tag team partner, so he wants Jimmy. Jimmy originally says no, but then Jay, basically by telling them that he has to say no, just kind of forced him then to say yes. I was gonna put that in there, but it was kind of one of those things that just kind of felt a little cookie cutter, and I thought I wouldn't rate it that high. So for the show, the sake of the show, it's just interesting to say, but probably don't need to say it later. Then we had Asuka stepping up to Stephanie in the back because Stephanie and Io had signed their contract. Asuka kind of playing that protective best friend, motherly, whatever you want to call it. I like it. It's a very interesting way that they're doing it and making even Io into a bigger and bigger baby face. And yeah, I'm completely on board with seeing what's going to happen here. But we didn't get Asuka versus Stephanie McCoy. We ended up being Kairi Sane, which I was 100% pumped. I'm going to put this up in A. We'll get to the match. The match was a little different, but yeah, I think I was really pumped at the moment hearing about this, so I definitely would put it up in A. Then we had Penta versus Kofi Kingston. Honestly, it's not bad. I'm just tired of getting the same thing over and over again. I really feel bad for Penta because he already faced his way through the Judgment Day, lost to Kofi. He beat Woods and Grayson Waller, but he beat Kofi. Does that mean he's done with him? I don't think so. I mean, we had the 6-man tag match with the Viking Raiders. Or War Raiders. There's just so much stuff that they could have done, and they didn't. So I think I'd put this in C. It didn't really hit for me. I like Penta a lot. I kind of don't like what they're doing with him, but I don't know if we're going to get much better than that. Then next up we had the mixed tag promo, basically with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins coming down, and then AJ Lee and CM Punk, which all of this just absolutely delivered. Everything about this is just it's a long-term great storyline with some really deep I think connections in obviously with them working in the same company for such a long time and outside stuff, everything just looks and feels really good about this rivalry. It's probably my favorite storyline going on right now, like by far. It makes it great for the vision where it can kind of let Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker do some different stuff, but like not enough where it's like they're still in the background, but they're getting their own things, and Seth Rollins is obviously getting a huge shot here to but basically both of them are champions, him and Becky Lynch. So both of them is showing this off, and this mixed tag will be great. I honestly, thinking about it, I don't even know who you pick to win this match. I'm gonna have to do a prediction video, and I'm still 50-50, but everything about the promo and stuff was great. I'd put this up in S. Like I said, it's just my favorite storyline going on. Everybody's been insanely good and working the crowd, working everything right now. So I'm completely on board with that. Next up, we had Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano. Actually, really pumped for this match. Grande Americano is like one of those weird things, and I'm probably gonna do a whole video on it. But he's not like bad, obviously. Like, so it's just kind of crazy what they're doing with it. That this could possibly work or tragically burn. And we'll all, like I said, I'll talk more about it in a side video because I have a lot of thoughts there. But this match was really good. I mean, Ludwig's doing great with a Grande Americano, and obviously Dragon Lee is just underrated as hell. He's a great wrestler out there. I think he just really needs to get that promo or be put in a really solid tag team with somebody, and I really think he'd take off. He really got to get out of this LWO thing, just because I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and like obviously with Ray being sidelined, he's just kind of sitting back there. But Dragon Lee's like the potential that he should be in there to possibly get the Intercontinental title at some point, because he's really good. Like, he's just a really good wrestler. Overall, solid match. I put it in B. Definitely could have been a little bit longer. A lot of shenanigans at the very end of it is probably the only reason why I didn't like this as much. Two more Grande Americanos appear. What is it? Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, which we've seen them periodically. We don't really know what's going on, but they did the Spider-Man meme, so I gotta put that up in S tier because at least for that moment is just perfect. Next up, I couldn't even find any match pictures, but it was Stephanie versus Kairi Sane. Rhea Ripley talked to her beforehand of like, hey, I got next if you win the title, or if Io wins the title. Either way, I'm on board with this. I think Io should win the title maybe at this point, but do it in a way that Asuka and Kairi cost her the title, so Io feels conflicted and gives a rematch to Stephanie, but also Rhea wants a rematch, and that's a lot. I mean, the problem that they have right here is like Io has so many good storylines that she should be champion, though Stephanie would be a perfect choice too because she's just been so good. So I don't think they could go wrong, pulling the trigger on either champion. So I think that's kind of a cool thing with this. The match itself was okay. I really think it struggled in certain parts. I'm a big Kairi Sane fan. I think she's a phenomenal wrestler, but this just wasn't it. She's had a few hiccups in her single matches recently. I think a lot of it has to do with it's just not her style of wrestling is not matching well against who they're facing. I think they just need to let her just uncork it and go out there and just do what she wants to do. Be a little bit more hard hitting and less high flying. I think she would really benefit from a couple extra strikes and stuff that she does, because she has the cutlass, she has stuff like that, but she got outstruck by Stephanie Vercor, and it just kind of felt like she felt a little weak. But overall, I'd probably put this in a C. I really hate that I have to put it there, but it just wasn't that good of a match. I mean, C is still solid. Like, I still am glad to have watched it, but I definitely think Kairi Sane could have done a lot better. I put probably Kairi Sane's performance in a C. I probably put Stephanie's in a B or a B plus. Like, she did pretty good. So I could split the difference and put it a little higher, but I think C is still fine. Then we had Asuka in the back, because at the end they were going to beat up Stephanie Vercor to help Io Sky out, like Asuka and Kairi Sane, and then Io had to make the save, which then led to their backstage thing of her being upset with it. But this is just building a great story. I'm like I said, the mixed tag titles are not titles, but mixed tag story is probably my favorite. This is my second favorite. Raw has some great storylines, and they just need to spend more time on showing this. And when they do, it is always good. So I'll put this also in S tier. Then we had Dom showing off his double championships. He was talking to the Judgment Day and basically being that I don't really, I did this. I don't need too much help, and that Grande Americano, they wanted to know why he helped him out, but Dom won't say or just thinks it's no big deal. I like the slow breakup type thing that they're hinting at, but I've been a big fan of this storyline, but it's just taking so long that I've just kind of like when it happens, it happens at this point. I don't really care because it's just I'm not invested in the split anymore. Especially if we don't get like a demon Finn Balor coming back and it's just regular Finn Balor that takes the title off of him or something. It's just not it anymore for me. So I guess I'm a little upset. But overall, I think the segment was good. I like putting it up in A. Yeah. We also with the Grande Americanos, we also had AJ Styles save him. So maybe a double team of a Grande Americanos and AJ and Dragon Lee. That could be good. Then we also had Rusev talk to Dominic, being that he's saying that he's going after that title. I don't want that. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Rusev coming back. I just haven't liked it. I'll put it down in C because at least I'd like to see a feud, but man, I don't really care too much about it. Then we had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker versus Jimmy Uso and LA Knight. Rinse and repeat. I hate these main events. These are just so just mixed up. At least the Vision are winning matches and it looks good. I do think they're going to drop the match to the Usos on the PLE, but man, this has just been kind of just a weird main event scene right now with just everything going in between and with Seth Rollins working with like the mixed tag stuff. His title's been kind of idle and not been defended, so that's a little rough sometimes when his first title run was so good because of how much story and how many times he was defending it on week in and week out on Raw, like doing stuff. There was so much stuff from it, so I think we're missing that a little bit. But this match, I thought was overall pretty good for what it was. I just kind of am like a little bit of like I don't know what do you call it, staled or just like drunk or whatever you want to call it, just not wanting to this main event is just it makes me sick of just seeing it. I don't even know what the best word of it. I'm just throwing out words and hoping something sticks. I'm just tired of this combination of a main event. I'd put it in B. It was a solid match, not nothing too crazy. It was competent enough to be the main event thing, but I definitely would have probably just like finished the show off with the promo with AJ Lee, CM Punk, and Rollins and Lynch. I think that would have been the better way to end the show. Overall, I probably put the show in a solid B. Wasn't too bad. Didn't expect much of it because it was like that special show right going into the PLE. Kind of like how SmackDown normally is the opposite. SmackDown's kind of stacked right before the event because they have title matches that didn't make it to the card. But I think overall, I'm pretty happy about what we saw tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you guys liked and if you're excited for WrestlePalooza this weekend. Till next time, it's been Japan. Bye, guys.